The kind of Christianity we are doing in this nation and in Africa, I tell you the truth, we will keep flattering ourselves for a long time until the world tells us you are becoming a nuisance, because our fanaticism is not translating to societal transformation. And you cannot speak to people in power until you can import the reality of the God life. When it changes policies, when it stops crime, are we together? When it helps to bring it and stops you know, all kinds of gender inequality for want of word and all of these things. If because you are a Christian you treat your wife well, if because you are a Christian you train the people in your school and the students in your school, that's Christian school, they pass all their WAEC, they are excellent, they are well behaved, you see, you now have the credence to formulate a policy in honor to your faith that government can use, because you have results to show. This is how nations are transformed. Nations are not transformed through blind fanaticism. The reason is because fanaticism is enhanced by small-mindedness. Once your mind is small and you are not global in your horizon, you will believe you are making progress. But there are powers that only understand God as profit to society. Did you hear what I said? You must translate yourself, that they can say because a church was planted here, the crime rate in this area just went down. And you can literally use statistics to confirm that from the time this church was planted, on account of the spiritual value that is being communicated from that man of God, that woman of God, that priest, that apostle, that prophet, it has translated to a decline in prostitution. It has translated to a decline in irresponsibility. Men are now taking their place. Families are mended. Are we together? People are getting jobs. All kinds of crime is reducing. Nations and governments will call you and say, we are not interested necessarily in the God you serve, but we want to know what policy runs your organization that produces a kind of profit. Now you have the audacity to say my policies are derived from my convictions, and they will still listen to you because the results are there to show. Your name is to be hallowed, Adonai. Listen, the church is the light of the world. We are not a congregation of dummies bound by blind fanaticism with no profitability to society. God is helping our generation to redefine the value of the Christian faith. We are not a nuisance to civilization. We may pray in tongues. The world may not understand the praying in tongues, but the creativity that comes from that praying in tongues, they will not deny it. Are we together now? Yeah. This is what God is helping us to do. To penetrate systems and structures, to translate spirituality and give it a context of intelligence that provides value that is applicable in nation building, value that is applicable in terms of human resources. Christians should not be part of the membership of a church and after 5 years they are not productive, they are not helping themselves, they are beggars. Are we together? Waiting for palliatives. What then is the value of the gospel? If you sell me that kind of gospel, I will reject you. In order of priority, it should be connecting to the eternal plan. But the spirit of revelation empowers us. If everybody in this place is able to feed 10 people, can that bring impact to our society? Do you think that it garnishes, it brings beauty to your spirituality? Last year I had the honor of speaking at the World Conference of the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship, and one of the things I shared with the people there, thankfully most or all of them are renowned businessmen, billionaires, millionaires, captains of industry, controllers of systems and structures, but that most of them, if not all of them, at least they call upon the name of the Lord. And one of the things that I taught there was the wisdom of Egypt. Even though Moses was called to be a deliverer, part of his qualification was that God sent him to Egypt to learn the wisdom of the Egyptians. Let me submit to you, there are many Christians who cannot be good governors. There are many Christians who cannot be good presidents. There are many Christians who cannot be good ambassadors. Do you know why? Fanaticism without translating spirituality with intelligence in a way that brings profit to society. Chances are excellent now that if I become some kind of position as a Christian, you see, if my mind does not receive a superior kingdom orientation to know that my jurisdiction is the globe, revealing Christ, but doing that in a way that is not just fanatical, are we together? That you can be able to statistically prove the value of my knowing God. You see, it is because in this side of Africa, we don't have value for statistics, we don't have value for reviews. Are we together now? In many parts of the world, and if God gives you grace to broaden your horizon, one of the things you will learn is that people don't believe nonsense. When you tell people something works, they will tell you, bring your facts and your figures. That even though the context of what you are communicating is spiritual, if God intended for that gospel to reach men, you should show me statistically. If you cannot show me how they are translated spiritually, show me the moral excellence that was derived. That 10 people, because they came to Christ, society has become better. That an armed robber called Barabbas, that he encountered Jesus Christ, and because of that, show me statistically. The Bible has a statistical proof of transformation. One prostitute met Jesus, and as a result, a whole city was converted. One madman met Jesus, and a whole city was converted. Jesus was not a fanatic. He transformed people. Are we together? He was strong on his convictions as far as representing the Father is concerned, but he penetrated systems and structures. Economic systems felt his impact. Religious systems felt his impact. Family life systems felt his impact. Are we together? Intellectual systems felt his impact. He entered the temple and he sanitized all kinds of misuse of God's house. This is Jesus for you. He spoke among people and they saw the wisdom in the things that he said. All those who fought Jesus were people who were living in denial, not ignorance. His statement was clear and unmistakable. Nicodemus came testifying on behalf of the scribes and the Pharisees and say, we know that you are a man sent from God. It's only that because you've won the heart of the people, it has disturbed us too much. We have to create a formula to dampen your influence. And he died, but he rose. This time around, we are the fruits of his resurrection, extending his value system. I have taught you that the gospel is not only a message that saves. The gospel is a value system that can translate society. All the societies today that we celebrate, at the core of any territorial development is their value systems. And value systems are derived from convictions. It is convictions that translate to value systems, that translate to policies that if enacted, they transform people. Moral excellence is first a mindset, a value system that translates to a policy. The spirit of revelation breathes upon your mind. Is someone learning?